Hello, welcome to the stream. It is the final part of Morkin week. And it is another very warm and hay fevery day, so that'll explain any sudden silences, as I don't want to subject you to the blowing of noses and such like. So, we're 3 sessions in, and as a reminder, we are doing Morkin this week because the sequel, I guess, game by the creator, the Five Kingdoms of the Ice Mark, is on Kickstarter right now. It's met its first stretch goal, which is a booklet expanding upon the adventure generation procedures in the actual rulebook, but there are more stretch goals to go, so everyone should go and back this and pledge lots of money towards it so I get a fun new game to play. So, we are on day 18 of our quest to save the world. The world ends on day 31, so you might think that it's getting a little bit tight, but we are camped here just west of the Mountains of Death, about a day's journey away from the Tower of Doom, which we must enter, defeat its guardian, and destroy the Ice Crown. So we're not that far, the end is in sight. With us are 2 companions. We have Farflame the Dragon Lord, and the Lord of Lotharil, whose name I only remembered this time because I looked it up before the session started. I'll go back to calling him the Lord of Thingy as soon as we get into it, I'm sure. So what tripped me up last time in my previous Morkin game was that I didn't leave enough time to get from the Tower of Doom. I got there and I got the Ice Crown, but I didn't leave enough time to get back to Lake Miro down here, which is a journey of a few days if you're going at top speed and nothing goes wrong along the way, because it is the waters of Lake Mirror that can destroy the Ice Crown. But that's not a concern this time because we have Farflame, the Dragon Lord, with us, who is also capable of destroying the Ice Crown. So we just need to get in, get the crown, and that'll be it. We'll have won the game and saved the world, I assume. On the not good side, we are unfortunately poisoned, which means we're losing 2 hit points a day. We're currently on 29 hit points, so not in great condition. We don't have any means of curing that at the moment, so we don't have any medicine. But there are 2 villages quite close to the Tower of Doom, just here and here. So we will be going to visit at least one of these on the way. I also want to check out the Ruin of Death up here, as this is a dungeon. It's one of the few pre-made dungeons in Morkin. So most of the dungeons in Morkin, they're procedurally generated as you play through them. So we went into one here, we went into this this cavern, and it wasn't actually a very exciting dungeon. It ended up being just a 2-room dungeon with the goal in this room here, just off the entrance. But the Ruin of Death is one of the pre-made dungeons that has like a map in the book, along with the Ruin of Tumog, which was over here, and the Cavern of Core, which I believe was around here. So 3 pre-made dungeons as opposed to the usual procedural generation approach. And I want to check out the Ruin of Death because we've not seen any of these so far. I do think we've got time for all of this because we can actually get around all these places in pretty much a day. So we can, if we set off from Plains, which we're currently in, you can move 3 hexes in a quarter. So we can go 1, 2, 3, then that'll be morning, 1, 2, 3, afternoon. We then spend some time in the village. We'll want to not pass through this keep here because we might get arrested and killed. So then we go 1, 2, 3 up to the Ruin of Death, and then 1, 2, 3 down to the Tower of Doom. So it's not very far. We'll, of course, lose time by doing things in all these places, and we'll need to pause and rest and so on. But I think we're pretty safe in terms of getting stuff done. So without further ado, I guess let's get into it. So we ended last session wrapping up day 17. So I've been keeping a little journal of what has happened. So we did all of our end of day stuff, but we've not yet done our start of day stuff. So Yes, we crossed the day off, but we marked off our rations. We now need to determine the weather. And it's currently clear weather, which is good. We get a bonus to some skills. So hopefully we'll get clear, or same as yesterday. It would kind of suck if we got the heavy wind or heavy snow, given that we're about to start trekking through the mountains. We got a 3, which is clear. That's very good. So we have clear weather again. It is now morning. And first thing I'm going to do in this morning is we are going to travel, and we could potentially explore this cavern here, you know, since the last cavern we explored wasn't that exciting. We've got time for it, I'm sure. Yeah, let's do that. So we're going to try moving southeast into the mountains here. So grab all the relevant dice. So I need my D100 to roll the skill check. I need a D... Let's go for the black D6. D6 to determine if we have an encounter. A D10 to determine if we have a Doomdark encounter. And another D6 to determine the direction we veer off in if we get lost. And we're setting off from the plains. It has good weather. So we are rolling against a 64, 84, 94. So we're pretty likely to get this done, but you never know. We got a 9, which is definitely a success. Sadly not a critical success, which would have given us extra skill, but it's okay. We don't have an encounter, and we don't have a Doomdark encounter. So we just move into the mountains here, which gives us 2 points off fatigue. We can only have 4 fatigue max, so that's not ideal. And then let's move southeast again. So we are setting up from the mountains this time. So that gives us a -10, I believe it was. I'll double check that. Yeah, -10. So that just cancels out with the +10 we get from it being clear weather, so we're just rolling against our default target of 64. And we got that as well, but we might be having a Doomdark encounter. Let's see, so the ice sphere is currently 2. On a 1, you encounter Doomdark's forces, or for a result of 1 to 2 if you're in the plains. We have just moved into the plains. So we have a Doomdark encounter. We also rolled a 1 on our regular encounter D6, but I don't think that happens if... yeah, that's only if there's no Doomdark encounter. So we're just going to have a Doomdark encounter. Let's go to the table for that. Okay, Doomdark encounter. The D10 is a 3. We are encountering 3, because there are 3 of us, Doomdark's warriors. This is the biggest enemy force we have encountered yet. Okay, let's see, Doomdark's warriors. What are these guys like? Right, okay. The Doomdark warriors are fearsome soldiers, clad in ominous black armor and wearing menacing horned helmets. So, if we look at the Doomdark pictures, it's probably this guy at the top right here, horned helmet. This guy. Yeah, these two at the back, these look like Doomdark warriors. Let's work out what all the Doomdark guys are, just for fun. So, just get my picture of all the Doomdark people up. Okay, so on the left here, we've got the assassin, because we found one of those last time. They wear the skull mask. So this guy is an assassin. What else have we got? So we have fanatics. The guy in the middle looks very fanatic-like to me. The Doomdark fanatic is a zealous follower of Doomdark, a willing participant in the dark forces bound to the Ice Crown's chilling influence, clad in ragged robes. I guess that fits. Yeah, that's kind of a ragged thing. Their eyes burn with an eerie, icy blue. Okay, so this is the Fanatic. Then we have Doomdark's Rider Cavalry. Mounted on massive war steeds with black fur and glowing red eyes. We don't have any cavalry in this picture, sadly. It's going to be one of these two at the back, but I'm not sure which. We'll come back to this. Leaning towards maybe the guy on the right because he's got like a fur cloak. Okay, then we have scouts. Have a crossbow. Let's see, this guy has arrows. You don't really fire arrows from a crossbow, but... I think this guy looks kind of scout-like. Have Doomdark's Warrior, which is, again, going to be one of these two, and... we also have Wolf Masters. Okay. Yep, Menacing Horned Helmets. Okay, this guy looks like a Wolf Master because of the fur cloak. So I guess this guy is a warrior. And we don't actually have a picture of the cavalry. Anyway, we're about to fight someone. We're about to fight 3 Doomdark's warriors. Right, yes. Fearsome soldiers and so on and so forth. Their presence is a harbinger of doom as they march through the frozen wilderness, their loyalty unwavering and their purpose clear, to crush all who oppose Doomdark's malevolent reign. Right, let's get these guys sorted out. So they have 25 hit points. Not that tough, although, I mean, Morkin only has 25 hit points. 29 hit points, rather, right now. They have a 60 in melee. A defense value of 30. They actually have armor, so they're going to absorb 1 point of damage from every hit, and they have 40 perception. They are worth 2 XP each, so this is going to be a pretty good encounter in terms of XP, but it's going to be fairly difficult, I think. Right, so I think these numbers are all correct. Yep, 29 hit points for Morkin, Farflame the Dragon Lord up front. Let's roll initiative. So just opposed perception. We are more perceptive than them, so that might help. Okay, we got a 34. They got a 100. They fumbled their perception roll. Does that do anything special? Let's get the combat rules. I think we might get a plus 20 to our first action. No. Okay, if one side succeeds and the other fails, the side that succeeds gains a plus 10 bonus to its next melee skill check, so that is us. If one side wins with a critical, they gain a plus 20. It doesn't mention fumbles, so we just get the plus 10. But that's fine. Okay, I think I found that reckless attacks are just my best way of dealing with enemies, because the extra damage is kind of worth the increased chance of them hitting us, so I'll go for that. Let's do a reckless attack against the first guy. We don't have any poison or anything anymore. Nope, so just charging at them with my sword. We got a 68, which is a miss. Okay. Now it's the enemy's turn, so even though there's 3 of us, we only get one action, which does feel a little bit unfair, but given that each of the enemies gets their own action. Alright, these guys, they don't have any special attacks, so I don't need to roll to determine what they do. It's just a attack with a sword for d6 damage. 18, that is below our defense values, that is a miss. The second one, 8 is also a miss, and then the third one... actually, the first one was a hit because I did a reckless attack. Okay, the third one is a 27, which is a hit. Okay, so... Right, so the first one hit, second one missed, third one hit. It's going to be 2 points of damage, and I believe the first one was 5, which would then become 4, because we have armor. And damage cycle has kind of moved around, so it is back to Farflame. And I'll do another reckless attack. A 73, another complete miss. $59 is just below their melee, so that is a hit. Miss. Also a miss. Another 99. Oh, gotta tick this down. Gotta remember to do that. I am rolling really high today. I think I was yesterday as well. Every combat I roll really high, which is unfortunate. Okay, that's... Oh, I shouldn't have rolled 2d6s there. That's a hit against Morkin for 2 damage. Let's put that other d6 out the way so I don't accidentally pick it up. And the third guy... 41... That is also a hit. Okay, let's just keep up with the reckless attacks. 44. That is a hit, thankfully. That is 8, 12, 13 damage. Yes. But goes down to 12 because it has 1 point of armor. So 12 damage against this first guy, so he's down to 13 hit points. He hits for another 5 damage. I think we'll probably want to rest after this encounter and try to recover some hit points. Because everyone is pretty beaten up. In fact, the Lord of Thingy, he'll probably die in this fight. 59 is a miss. And thirdly, 15. That is below our defense value, so that is a miss. $85. Another miss. I need to get some like D100s that are weighted low because I'm very good at rolling high. That's a critical hit. 3. The warrior lands a perfectly timed hit, striking a vital point. The attack causes 6 hit points of damage, which becomes 5 because of armor. $59. That's still above my melee, so that's another miss. So I was thinking about the combat. I think you probably want a melee skill of around 80, because then most of the enemies that we've faced so far, you'll have around a 50% chance of actually hitting them. So a melee skill of 54 is definitely too low. Miss. Okay, 3 misses there. $9. That's definitely below our melee score, but unfortunately it is also below their defense values. That is a miss. $42 is a hit. Okay, Lord Thingy, very close to death now. Then the third one. Miss. Okay, another round gone by. So this counter I'm ticking down, this just caps the maximum defense value we can have. So no one can have a defense value more than 40 at the moment. And the idea is this speeds up combat because as the fight goes on, people are less capable of defending themselves. But that doesn't really help if I just keep rolling high. Okay, that's another very high number. Oh, 60, exactly, that is a hit. Unfortunately. Okay. I made a mistake by having such a puny, weak character who only has a 54 melee. That's a fumble. 100. The warrior's weapon strikes with such reckless force that it shatters on impact. The warrior finds himself weaponless, runs away, and abandons the fight. I think that was the second one. So let's just mark him off. So I'm not going to get XP from him, sadly. And then this guy does hit. Okay, a new round. New round, new miss. Okay. 38 is a hit. So their defense value is now down to 20 because the fight has gone on so long. And the second one is miss. Okay, now defense values are down to 10. 59 is above my melee. Okay. Yep, that's a hit. That is a hit because of the lowered defense values. I've managed to land one single hit this fight, and we are now we're now 10 rounds into the combat. I've hit once. That's kind of frustrating. And I've missed again. Okay, that's 5 damage. Wait, no. There's the second item who needed to attack. But misses. Uh, 54. That is exactly a hit. Oh, thank God. Okay. Right. That's 8. That's yeah. It's going to be another 13, but it drops down by 1 because of their armor. So this guy has 1 hit point left. And that is a hit because no one has any defense value anymore. Lord of Thingy is dead. Second guy hits for 5 damage. Might be worth running away from this fight, actually. Because my luck is so terrible in the rolls. How do you run away? Pass a defense skill check. So my defense is brain calculating 53. So I'm less likely to actually succeed on that than I am on my melee. And I've missed so many melee attacks. I may as well just keep fighting, I suppose. Yep. 92. 34, that is a hit. 3 damage. It'll be a very unsatisfying end if it is beaten up by 3 guys because we're so inept. Okay, that was 1 damage against Morkin, but armor protects him. 50. Oh, God. $55. Yeah, okay. $77, complete miss. I don't think there's anything I can actually do to improve my chances of hitting. There's just a couple of different types of attack, but it doesn't really help. So I'm doing the desperate attack, which costs 8 of my 10 action points, which is why I'm doing a bunch of extra damage. But I can't do anything to make it more likely to hit, which is the problem here. Suppose I could do first aid. Is that useful? What's my first aid? My first aid is only a 40. But I suppose it might be worth it, given we are running out of health. I don't know. Well, it's the enemy's turn now. That is a hit, but again, 0 damage. That is a hit for 1 damage. Another complete miss. Yes, 51 is a hit. Okay, I have 7 hit points left. I think it's time to just prioritize running away. So let's try... So if we run away, we move back to the hex we just came from. So we end up back in the mountains. You just get more points of fatigue. And also all the enemies get a free attack. I think it's probably the best option, though. Nope. Okay, they hit. Where's my little combat? Here we go. That's against Farflame now, so that's another 5 damage there. Second guy. Misses. Let's try running away again. 31. Okay, right. So the enemies now get a free attack. Hits the first one, 1 point of damage. That is absorbed by the armor. And then the second enemy misses. Okay, right. So we retreat back into the mountains. Which means we get 2 more fatigue. We have lost our horse. So if you drop below 10 hit points, you lose your horse. That means we're able to move 1 fewer hex every travel. And the enemies actually remain here, fully healed. So there's going to be 3 Doomdark's Warriors waiting in this hex for us. So we don't want to go through there again. Okay, so that was morning. What I want to do in the afternoon is we need to desperately rest. Also, I need to update all of my stats because we've lost the Lord of Lothrils. All of his modifiers go away. So that is, oh no, I lose some points of melee. So it's 2 melee, 2 defense, 1 damage. And 2 perception and 10 hunting. Let's update these numbers over here. So my melee total is now 52. My defense value is... my defense is 51. So my defense value is actually down to 25. And my perception is a 45. I have 7 hit points left. I don't have any lockpicks because those got stolen previously. Okay, and I'm at 4 fatigue. So I can move, but it's not looking good. So let's go check out resting. So for resting, we have a 1 in 10 chance of being interrupted by something. We will reduce our fatigue. We have to do a first aid check to try to heal ourselves. So let's go check out first aid. So first aid, it's in the healing section. If you successfully pass a first aid skill check, which requires 1 bandage for each member of your group you wish to heal, you'll recover d6 plus 2 hit points. Okay, so we have a 40 in first aid. So let's just note down the events of the morning. We descended from the mountains, but ran into a Doondark patrol. In the ensuing battle, the Lord of Lothloril? I'll remember his name eventually. Lord of Lothloril was slain. Farflame and I retreated into the mountains. Retreated, injured, into the mountains. So, right, let's try resting. So first we have our d10 roll to see if anything bad happens. Nothing bad happens. Now I need to make my first aid roll. So 33. What was my first aid? First aid is a 40, so that is a success. That's going to cost 2 bandages. Right, okay, let's work this out. So first, we reduce the fatigue by d6. So we get rid of all of our fatigue. And then Morkin recovers d6 plus 2 hit points, so very little actually. Okay, 3 hit points, amazing. Farflame also gets d6 plus 2. Amazing, another 3. Okay. Right, so we can't go back down this way. I think we really need to get to the village now, because the village will, like, we can heal when we get to the village. We also have this wooden idol with us, which can fully recover our hit points if we visit a henge. Where's it? There is the weird henge back here. We would lose some time. We could maybe work our way around to Dead Henge. And also I need to knock off 2 hit points, I'm pretty sure, because I'm poisoned and I didn't do that first thing in the morning. Okay, so I'm like in danger of dying just over the next couple of days. So we're in the mountains. We're setting off from the mountains. I think that means we can only move 1 hex. Yeah. So we are unhorsed. I don't really want to go back to Weird Henge to get healed up, because then that's going out of our way and it'll take a little while to get there. So an alternate route we could take is we could go in here, which would take up 1 quarter of the day. That would be the evening. We camp in the mountains. Morning tomorrow, we head down here. That's again all we can do because we're setting off from the mountains. Then afternoon, we can move down into the village. Evening, we can rest in the village. Yeah, I think that's the thing to do. So let's try going north east. So it's good weather. Yep, but the mountains cancel that out. So just rolling against a 64. We completely failed that roll. We don't have any encounters, and we got a 3, which means we actually stay in this hex, which kind of wander around it in circles. Arriving in the same mountain hex, so we again gain 2 fatigue. And that was our evening. My confidence in winning the game has just like plummeted. Okay. And then we need to camp at night, so let's roll for our camp as well. So we get a +10 to our camp roll from the good weather as well. So we're rolling against a 65 there. Okay, we at least camp. So that means we recover. Okay, let's start with the fatigue. So D6 fatigue. Okay, our fatigue is gone again. And then Morkin recovers 7 hit points. And Farflame recovers 4 hit points. So still very beat up. I definitely wouldn't want to go assault the Tower of Doom like this because there's quite a tough enemy guarding it. Okay, right. So, in the morning, we descended from the mountains and ran into a Doomdark patrol. In the ensuing battle, the Lord Lothar was slain. Farflame and I retreated injured into the mountains. In the afternoon, we rested and tended our wounds. Evening, we attempted to move through the mountains towards the northeast to skirt around the patrol, but got turned around and arrived back where we started. But we did have a good night's rest, so that's the one silver lining. Okay, day 19. So we need to check off the day. Mark off a ration. Only one ration because we don't have a companion eating up our food. We are poisoned, so we immediately lose 2 hit points. And we need to determine the weather. 10. That is the bad weather. Okay, so we can make an endurance skill check to try and power on through. But that's a 73, which is definitely above our endurance. We have like 20 endurance. 22 endurance. So we have a minus 20 penalty to all skill checks. And we are traveling in the mountains, so we'll actually have a minus 30 penalty to moving in the mountains. Which means we'll be rolling against a 34 to try to get anywhere, which is pretty bad. I feel we need to try at least. We don't have enough bandages to just kind of sit here resting all day. Like, we could rest for 1/4 of the day and sleep for another 1/4 of the day, but then it leaves 2 whole quarters with nothing going on. So I think we do need to try to press on to the northeast still. That is a 60. We did not do it. We were trying to go here. We got a 5. I believe that means we veer around to the right, which means we end up back with these warriors. Yeah. Okay, well, we made it out of the mountains, but run into this same patrol. Which is possibly the worst result, as they're all now fully healed. Okay, it is morning. We've been traveling. Run into 3 Doomdark warriors again. We need to try to sneak away from these guys, because we will not survive another fight with them. So fleeing before combats. You escape to a previous hex or the previous one, or another adjacent one of the previous hexes blocked. We don't have any fog stones, so this isn't going to be an automatic success. It is stealth versus perception. My stealth is 60, their perception is 40. Okay, we succeeded on that, so we kind of sneak back into the mountains, gaining 2 fatigue because we have traveled into the mountains. So that was the morning. Now we'll try in the afternoon, I think, to move along to the northeast again. And if we don't do it this afternoon, we'll just rest. Okay, that's a 3. That's a critical success. I need to roll Doom Dark Encounter, which I didn't do. We don't have a Doom Dark Encounter, but we do have a regular encounter. As is a critical success, we don't get any fatigue from the journey, which is quite nice, and we get a point in our orientation skill. Okay, encounter. Let's turn to the encounter table and see what we've got for mountains. $36 in the mountains. That's this one. A despair spider. As you move cautiously through the wilderness, you suddenly encounter a despair spider dragging a small, lifeless prey towards what you assume is its lair. The grotesque entity's many eyes shift towards you, sizing you up. Okay, I guess this isn't a stealth encounter then. Against its catch, it seems to hesitate for a moment, as if weighing its options. Then, as if making up its mind, the despair spider abandons its previous prey and lunges at you, deciding you are the more appealing meal. Okay, is this just a combat encounter? We have to fight it. This is a despair spider. It's a smaller version of the Dread Widow, I think. The Dread Widow had 32 hit points. The despair spider has 20. Okay, yes, it is a smaller, lethal spider. So, not so bad. Maybe. Right, so we travelled again in the afternoon, and we've not yet done the evening. The despair spider is a giant arachnid, approximately 2 meters in size. Its translucent body is adorned with ice crystals that reflect light, creating a dazzling and intimidating effect. Its 8 legs are long and skeletal, ending in sharp claws capable of easily piercing through ice. The spider's multiple eyes glow with a chilling blue light. Though primarily thought to inhabit the Downs of Despair in the north, I can't read, it has been expanding its territory southwards. Alright, Despair Spider. I'm feeling much more confident against one enemy. It has 20 hit points, 50 melee, 15 defense value, that is rounded down to 10 because of the alternate combat rules. It has no armor, 50 perception. So, we're still in very bad shape, but not quite so bad that a Despair Spider is going to kill us, I hope. Okay, got a 22, we got a 50, so it goes first and gets a plus 10 to its first attack. I may have spoken too soon. And I need to roll to see what it does. Okay, got a 44, which is a hit. That's below its melee score and above our defense value. It is doing attack 6. A swarm of frostlings. If there are still frostlings alive, roll again. There are no frostlings? Okay. The spider summoned a swarm of 3 frostlings from its icy lair. Oh no. Each frostling has 5 hit points. Melee. Okay. If the despair spider dies, they flee. Alright, so we want to target the despair spider, not the frostlings. So, frostlings. What have these guys got? They have 5 hit points, melee 45, defense value 20. They're actually tougher than the spider in that way, and perception 40. I don't know if these guys attack immediately. Let's see what the combat rules say. Does it mention minions? It doesn't mention minions. I'm going to be kind to myself and assume that these guys can't attack in the same round they were summoned. So it is now my turn. And I'll I can't really afford the desperate attack because we're so low on hit points. So I'll just have to go for a regular attack. And hope that's good enough. Okay, 51. That is a hit for 5 damage. Right, now all of these guys get to attack. The Despair Spider, 36. That is a hit. It is doing attack 4, a Glacial Venom Bite. Spider's Bite deals d6 damage. Roll an endurance skill check. If you fail, the defender taking the damage is poisoned. Okay, so that's 4 damage to Farflame. And he's probably going to be poisoned because my endurance is like 22? 22. Okay, Farflame is poisoned. Conditions. So he's going to be losing 2 hit points a day as well. Max HP 70, currently on 15. We're really beaten up. Okay, now we have the 3 Frostlings. These don't have any special attacks. Uh, 36 is a hit. 1 damage that is absorbed by my armor. Second one, miss. Third one, critical hit. They don't have a special. They have no critical hit or fumble. Okay, so it's just, well, sadly this guy rolled max damage. So Farflame is on the verge of death as well now. All right. Maybe I do need to do a desperate attack because if this fight turns to a battle of attrition, the spider's going to kill us. So yes, I think we have to go for a desperate attack here and just risk being exploded on every round. It's a 50. That is a hit. That's 2, 3, 4, 7. Right. Now we have the spider up first. 30 is a hit. It's okay. Summoning Frosting. So if there are Frosting still alive, roll again. Frozen Web Trap. The Despair Spider spins a large web of icy threads around you and your companions. The web is razor sharp and sticky, lasting for 2 combat turns. Make a might check each turn until you succeed in freeing yourself. While trapped, you cannot perform any other actions on your turn. If you free yourself, you'll be able to attack on your next turn. Okay, I'm pretty certain we're gonna be killed here. So we have 2 turns, but we're going to be hammered by enemies in those turns. So Frosting 1, miss. 2, hit. 3, miss. All right, that's now it's turn 1, so you make a might check. I got an 81. I'm pretty certain I don't have 81 might. Yeah, I have 42 might. So we just struggle ineffectually for 1 turn. Now the spider attacks. 39 is a hit. It does another web trap. Yeah, we're not making it out of this alive. We've got Frostlings. Miss. Miss. Hits, but absorbed by armor. We spend another turn struggling. And succeed, actually, so we explode out of the webs. We still lose the turn. I think that's should have checked down twice, and now it is the spider's turn again. That's going to be more Frostlings. A bite. 38 is a hit. The spider bites you Dealing piercing damage, take d6 damage. Okay, so Farflame is taking 1 point of damage. Enemies. Miss. 47, miss. Okay, back around to us. I think another desperate attack is really all we can do. I mean, we need to kill this spider like immediately, otherwise, we're not going to last multiple rounds of combat. 70 is a miss. Okay, spider. 32 is a hit. It is biting Morkin for 3 damage. The Frostlings miss. Hits against Farflame for 4 damage. No, they do d6 minus 2. For that goes to 3, minus 1 for the armor. 2, yes, 2 damage, yes. Third one. Miss. $55 is a miss. After spider. 58 is a miss. So this is like the first time the spider has missed. Maybe. The Frostlings miss. Critical hit. It doesn't have a special critical. That's 1 point of damage, which is absorbed by my armor, so nothing happens. And then the third one. Miss. Okay. 10. Finally, we hit the spider. Okay, that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. The spider is killed. The Frostlings flee when the Despair Spider dies. Okay, we just made it out, but Farflame is poisoned, as well as me. So both Farflame and I will be losing 2 hit points a day, and we only have 7 hit points. Okay, well, at least we get some loot. We have a Despair Spider Eye. I think my backpack is maybe full, though. It is. I don't really want to... I like all the things I've got, so I'm just going to trample upon the Despair Spider Eye. Right, so I think that's all updated. So that was the afternoon. Let's note down what happened. So morning, morning we got stuck and didn't move, and then afternoon we encountered the spider. No, morning we ran into the patrol again, retreated, and then afternoon we encountered the spider. Okay. So we tried to move northeast again, but the mountain paths brought us down near the patrol again. This time we were able to escape. Oh, sneak off. We persevered to the northeast. Persevered, not persevered. We persevered and made progress. Alas, we encountered a Despair Spider. And it nearly killed us. Farflame is poisoned. I fear we are not long for this world. Okay, how am I doing on fatigue? So it would be nice to get out of the mountains. I'm not sure that's a good idea though. So we desperately need to get to a village where we can buy some antidotes. We probably don't even have enough money for 2 antidotes, though. Yeah, this is pretty tough. I think we want to try moving southeast, though, out of the mountains. But I'm wary of doing that because if we lose direction again, we might run into this patrol again. And that would be really bad. So maybe we want to try going northeast, and then at least if we veer off, we're not veering off into a patrol that we know about. So yeah, let's try doing that in the evening. We'll try traveling northeast again. That is a 42, which I'm not sure is a success here. No, it's not. We're rolling against a 35. Okay, so we got lost, which means we veer off in direction 4, which is actually we stay where we are. So we kind of move around in circles here. And let's roll our camping roll to see if we've managed to have a good night's sleep. So this is, we're rolling against a 35 here because of the bad weather. Okay, we don't successfully camp. We have camping and campsite number 4. Strange moans and otherworldly sounds have kept you awake all night. Add 4 fatigue. Okay, we wake up unrested. We lose 2 more hit points when we wake up because we're both poisoned. And we can't move because our fatigue is too high. Okay. And I started this stream thinking, oh, we're just going to waltz over to the villages at the base of the Tower of Doom. We'll, deal with our small problem, do a little bit of adventuring, and then we'll save the world. And it's probably going to be a short stream, maybe, unless I do extra adventuring. But actually, it's not going that well. Okay, day 20. Let's mark off our ration. We'll definitely need to begin the day by resting because we can't do anything else. We need to roll for the weather. 7. Okay, no effects. So that's much better than it was. We need to rest. Possibly need to rest in the afternoon as well, but we'll see. I don't really want to rest for too long because we'll just die eventually. Okay, resting. So we have 1 in 10 chance of something bad happening. Something bad happens. On a 1, you encounter foes. Consult the encounters table. If an encounter interrupts your rest, you'll not recover any fatigue. However, if you survive the combat, so that's a really big if, we have 10 hit points between us, you may use the first aid skill afterwards. Okay, encounters, mountains. 9, a frostborn colossus. That sounds bad. That looks bad. Ice and stone golems, feared as some of the most dangerous opponents one can encounter in midnight. Typically found in the mountains, they are slow but immensely strong. While their sluggishness can make it difficult for them to land a hit, when they do, the results are devastating. I like how their incredible sluggishness is indicated with a melee skill of 40, and my melee skill is only 52. Like, I started with a melee of 40. I'm as slow and as imprecise as a giant, just not strong enough to back it up. Okay, we can try to sneak away though. Stealth versus perception. Come on, let's go. It critically succeeded on that perception roll. We are not sneaking away at all. Okay, Right, so as we tried to rest... As we tried to rest, a frostborn colossus interrupted us. Came upon us. We tried to sneak away, but not before it saw us. Okay. Right, so this is going to be, I guess, the last fight of the Morkin game, because we're not winning this. Frostborn colossus. 60 hit points. 40 melee. 30 defense value, and 40 perception. It has 6 times many hit points as us. And is only marginally less likely to hit. Okay. Actually, let's see. It has a 20% chance of hitting us. We have a 22% chance of hitting it. So yeah. All right, let's roll to see who goes first. 52 for it, 65 for us. We both failed our perception rolls. If both has failed, the side with the lower roll wins. It goes first in the fight as well. Okay. The game is teaching me my hubris for thinking, I'm going to easily win Morkin this time. Okay. It got an 86, which is a miss, thankfully. I'm just going to do reckless attacks. Like, there's no point in like trying to endure this thing. I mean, I suppose I can begin the combat with a first aid roll, but is that actually going to be useful here? We'll recover, most will recover 8 hit points. Could be useful, actually. Okay, I'm going to try... Yeah, let's try doing first aid. How many action points does that cost? Okay, 5 action points. So I can only do this once because I don't have enough bandages for a second set. I also don't have any potions or anything. Okay, I think I can do a first aid check and then try to dodge. Yeah, let's do first aid. 22. That's a success. So we need to recover, what was it, D6 plus 2? Let's check the healing rules. Yep, it's just a regular success, not a critical. So we'll start with me. Okay, I get 7 hit points. And then Farflame. He gets 5 hit points. Bandages are gone. And then I'll dodge. So I make an athletics skill check. I got a 60 in athletics. That's a success. So if it hits, I will avoid all damage. And it's a real shame that you can't dodge and attack in the same round. So now it's action. It would have hit with that. And it would have done attack number 3, a normal attack, which is D10 damage. Oh my god. How much damage did I just escape? 2. Okay, not amazing, but giant fist plows into the ice next to us, and we leap out of the way just in time. Okay, well, let's do a desperate attack. It's all I can really hope for is that we'll somehow get lucky, which has not been how the session has gone so far. Nope, that is a complete miss. Its turn. I'm not even gonna. So normally I roll the red d6 to determine what attack the enemy does, and then the black d6 to determine how much damage it does. But since this thing can do d10 damage, there's no point rolling the black d6. Yeah, I'll need to see what it does. Okay, it missed. That's fine. But that would have been another d10 damage if it had hit. Okay, we got an 8, but that is below its defense value, so we miss. It missed with a 91. 42. That is a hit. Okay, so that's 6, 9, 10, 13 damage. Ooh. That's pretty good. Its turn. It hits. It does attack 1. D10 damage to Farflame the Dragon Lord. He could just be killed in... He can't be killed in 1 hit because we have 1 point of armor. He could be left on 1 hit point. Okay, he takes 8 points of damage. That's a 63, I think. That's a miss. This guy misses a 45. Another miss. 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 I'm really good at rolling like 70s to 90s on the D100. Oh, escaping die. 23. That's a hit. Okay. He is doing attack 3, the normal attack. 10 damage to Morkin. Or rather, 9 because of armor. Morkin is left on 3 hit points. The next attacks from this thing that land are likely just going to kill us. Miss. 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 That's a miss because it's below its defense value. Miss. That's a critical hit. What happens when I get a critical hit? 6. Instant kill. Wow. You deliver a precise hit to a vital area, instantly killing the enemy. I'll take it. It feels a bit cheesy to lop off 47 hit points in a single attack, but fine. Is that or we get game over? So it's got 5 XP. It has loot. What loot does it have? Nothing. Okay. Right, so looking at our hit points now, unless we heal somehow, Farflame will die in the morning. Because he only has 2 hit points. And Morkin is down to 3 hit points. So let's see, so that was... let's see, how did I kill this thing? What could you possibly do that would kill this in a single hit? Maybe, I don't know exactly how big it is, but thinking maybe I actually leaped into its mouth with my sword and stabbed it through the roof of the mouth into this icy brain. When all hope was lost, I leapt into the monster's open mouth with my sword held before me. By incredible luck, I drove the blade into its brain, killing it instantly. That was an intense morning. Right, so we can't rest because we don't have any bandages. How can we heal? So we can heal if we camp successfully. I think we desperately need to get to a village. If we get to a village, that guarantees we will camp successfully and recover some hit points. So we can move 1 hex down from here in the afternoon, and then 2 hex. We can't make it to the village today. Okay, Farflame is just going to die on the road. Alright, let's try making it out of the mountains at least. Try going southeast. 63, I'm pretty sure that's a success on a normal day. Yep, that's fine. We don't have any encounters or anything, so we just make it down. That was our 1 hex of movement in the afternoon, because we started from a mountain, and we are unhorsed. So evening, we will travel again. We can move 2 hexes only, because we don't have a horse. $88. That's a definite miss, and it's a 5. We veer off to the left. We end up in the downs, so we take... Oh, no, hang on. No. We had fatigue. We couldn't move out of the mountains after all. We had fatigue. Morkin literally cannot move. All we can do is rest. Let's roll our 1 in 10 chance to see if something bad happens again. Oh my god, another rest encounter. Okay, let's look at the encounters table. Mountain. 1. 2 wolves. Drawn by the sound of the fight, no doubt. Can we try to sneak away from the wolves? Let's have a look. No, we completely fail that stealth roll. So, okay, we are now fighting wolves. We go first at least. Wow, this session so far has just been constant combat. I feel we traveled like a long way last session with very little in the way of combat, and now it's just all happening at once this session. Okay, so we have 2 wolves. They have 50 melee, 20 defense, 70 perception. So yes, they failed their perception roll. And between us, we have 5 hit points. Drawn by the sounds of the fight, a pair of wolves leapt upon us. Okay. Well, we're going first, and we get the +10 to our first thing. I don't think it's going to make a difference, though. Try doing a desperate attack against this first wolf. The situation is desperate. That's a 71, a miss. Wolf 1. Misses. Wolf 2. Also misses. Miss. Wolf 1 misses. Wolf 2 also misses. 41 is a hit. Wolf 1 is taking 6, 7, 10 damage. Wolf 1 misses again. Wolf 2 Misses. That's boxed by our defense value. I miss. Wolf 1 misses. Wolf 2 misses. Miss. That's a hit, actually, because I did a desperate attack. So Farflame takes 2 damage and is killed. I lose all of Farflame's bonuses. Which is plus 10. Oh my god. Okay, so plus 10 to my melee, plus 5 to my defense, plus 3 to my damage, and plus 5 to my perception. I think even if I were to defeat the wolves now, I wouldn't be able to win the game because I don't have enough time to heal up, go to the Tower of Doom, defeat the Guardian, and then journey all the way down to Lake Miro to destroy the Ice Crown. So the game has been lost. It's just, do we get, like, is it lost right now with these wolves, or does something else happen? So my melee is a 42. Okay. Alright, that was the first wolf's attack. Now for the second wolf. 50. Hits, but that 1 damage is absorbed by my armor. Miss. That's a critical hit. The wolf deals max damage. Morkin is killed. Game over. Do we read anything special when death happens? If any combatant, including Morkin, has their health points reduced to 0, they die. It's as simple as that. If Morkin dies, let's hope that Luxor the Moon Prince, his father, can lead the free armies with the help of the Fae to defeat Doomdark. But that is a story not told in this game. Wow. It was going so well last time, and then it was just a comedy of errors this time. So what? So we started in this hex here. We crossed the mountains and encountered some bad guys here who nearly killed us. We then retreated back into the mountains and tried to navigate out, but ran into them again. We then fought a colossus and some wolves here. Did we fight anything else this session? Anything I'm misremembering? The spider as well, yes. Okay. The end. Well, it's about halfway through the stream. I'm going to have a little break, and then I guess I have some thoughts about the Morkin system. And I guess we'll figure out what else we're doing. So I'll be back in a moment. Okay, I'm back. Right, so combat. Combat has kind of been a slog in Morkin. I'm wondering why. So I tried using these alternate combat rules, which I think did speed things up a little bit. But I also think every combat this session took, other than the one with the wolves, took over 10 rounds to complete, which is quite a long combat. So I'm just wondering, um, like what the chance of like hitting an enemy, like how that compares with say old school essentials. So let's just have a look, do a bit of comparative game design, I guess. Okay, so if we have old school essentials here, and let's see, wolf. Surely there's a generic wolf. Okay, a wolf. In fact, let's see. So we have a normal wolf and a dire wolf. Is this like a special big wolf or is it just a normal wolf? Okay, we have separate dire wolves and regular wolves in this system. So let's compare the Morkin wolf with the old school essentials wolf. So it has a 20 defense value and I had a 42 melee. So I had a 22% chance of hitting it. If you look at the wolf in old school essentials, it has an AC of 12, which means that a character with no modifier to hit has a 45% chance of hitting it. So that's double the chance. I do kind of have a weak character here. I've got strength as my dump stats, which was obviously a mistake. So let's see what's the modifiers here. So I think in old school essentials, a character's strength modifier, I don't believe it goes below -2. Let's have a look. Okay, so the lowest possible strength you can get has a -3 modifier. So let's see, what is it? 1d20 -3 greater than or equal to 12. That's still a 30% chance of hitting. So the absolute weakest, most feeble old school essentials character still has a better chance of hitting a wolf than me, who actually put a bunch of points into melee because I knew that my strength was low. So that's not great. And it has 20 hit points. It's 20 hit points, and you're dealing on the order of d6 damage. Let's call that 3.5 damage a round. Whereas the old school essentials wolf has 11 hit points. So, and again, you're likely dealing around d6 damage. So if we just look at the wolf, for example, the old school essentials wolf has both lower hit points and is easy to hit than the Morkin wolf. It did feel like there were a lot of combat rounds in which nothing happened, where I was just like rolling attack after attack after attack for both me and the enemies, and neither side was actually hitting the other. So it's interesting to see that the probability does actually kind of back that up a bit. I feel like you probably want I think as I said earlier on in the session, I think you probably want a combat skill of around 80, because then you have around a 50% chance of hitting most of the enemies. But let's see, what do you need to do to get to 80 combat? 80 melee, rather. You could put your 50 in your strength, and then you need to add an extra 30 points of your 50 points, I think, for creating your character. Let's see, creating your character. Yeah, you have 50 points to allocate. Oh, you can only actually get up to 60 in a skill at character creation. So Let's say we did that. Let's say we got to 60. The wolf still has a defense value of 20. So at best, you can have a 40% chance of hitting the wolf out of character creation, which is the equivalent of a D&D character with a -1 strength modifier. So a D&D character with below average strength. So yeah, I feel the enemy's defense values are too high, or possibly the combat skills are too low. So it's too hard to hit an enemy, which means combat lasts a really long time. Camp, I think, is also a skill you want a lot of points in. So I started with under 50 in camp. I think I started with 40 in it. And I think that was a mistake because in the beginning I had a long string of failing to camp, and that just led to lots of nighttime encounters and so not being able to recover HP or fatigue. But camping is the main way in which you heal. So that was a hindrance, although not actually my downfall in the end. I think also only having 4 max fatigue was I feel like it was less of a problem than I feared, but it was also quite inconvenient at times, especially now right at the end when I couldn't leave the mountains without resting. And then we had 2 1 in 10 rest interruptions back to back. So I'd probably not use strength as my dump stat again, if only for the melee. I mean, if the Morkin Wolf has less chance of hitting us than the Old School Essentials Wolf, that just contributes to like lots of combat rounds in which nothing happens, in which everyone misses. So it has a 50 melee, and I had a defense value at the end of 23. So yeah, it only had a 27% chance of hitting me, which is also low, but still, it just means that a lot of the time nobody will hit anybody in a combat round. In which case, what's the point of doing that combat round? Another thought I have is that the charisma feels a little bit tricky. So it doesn't tie into that many vital skills, I don't think. I've not had many encounters where the charisma based skills come up, so that's animal handling and mental toughness and persuasion. I think those are the only charisma based skills. Yeah. And I did have that encounter with the Mistworm last time, which is where mental toughness came up. But I think that's the only time I've needed a charisma skill. But not having a 30, at least a 30 in charisma, means you're paying extra at the shops. So, like, having a low charisma feels bad for shopping, but then having a high charisma feels bad for skills because you could put a high number in something else. I don't think there's like a clear best attributes, but they're definitely not all equally useful. I think having strength as a 20 was a mistake. I also think that companions are quite a big deal. I didn't really do a good job with companions in my last 2 games, which I think is a large part of why I failed. Though in this game I did have companions and I still failed, but I think that was just a string of bad luck at the end. Like the bonus of damage that the companions give you, I had a +4 at one point, is a pretty big deal when you're only rolling a d6 for damage. So overall, I do like it. I just think the combat could do with like something else to make it I guess make it more likely to the both sides will hit so that combats don't take so long. I think it pretty much was just bad luck that made me lose. Like having two rests where both time I hit the 1 in 10 chance of having a combat encounter, that was very unlucky. So I don't think like the losing was due to a flaw. But the combat I think is a bit of a flaw because it just drags on a lot. I don't think there's anything else in these alternate combat rules that would have helped there. Yeah, these alternate combat rules are just around making defense kind of less powerful, but that doesn't help if you always roll above your skill anyway. I haven't tried the group combats, but I'm going to try that in the Five Kingdoms of the Ice Mark. Although it does say that it can make combat easier. I think also bandages are more important than, or at least sufficiently important that I should have stocked up on bandages, because I could possibly have lasted a little bit longer at the end there if I had more bandages to heal with. Though again, I only had a 40 in my first aid, so wasn't super likely to actually manage to heal people. All in all, I do like the system. I just think the combat needs a bit of work because it's very, very like whiffy. People, like at times it felt like both Morkin and the enemies just kind of like swinging their fists at each other and just like punching the air by each other's heads, not actually hitting. So the probability need tweaking there, but other than that, it was okay. Let's see, what should we do now? I also possibly should have retreated when I was in this hex here back to Weirdhenge and got Morkin fully healed up. Even if Farflame ended up dying, Morkin might have lasted a bit longer. But there's always something else you can do. What would I change in the combat? I think probably just give everything like a significant boost in its melee skill. Just a much higher chance to hit. Because then we'd have far fewer of these like dead rounds where nothing happens. So let's see what the combat skill was in Kernathalis. Like how likely were you to hit in that? I feel it was like around 80 or something. Okay, so in Kernathalis you start with 60 or plus 60 in a weapon skill. And then some of the masteries increase it as well. So let's see what my Kernathalis characters were like. Oh, because I had a 64 there. And I have another Kernathalis? Yes, I did. Here I had a 63. Okay, so in Morkin, a 60 is the highest you can start a skill at. In Kernathalis, 60 is just what you start your best combat skill at. Then of course they go up from their respective starts. So yeah, higher combat skill, probably just like start with a 60 in melee, with all the enemies also having a higher melee. I think that would go a long way to making the combat a bit more exciting. I think I've heard there's like a sweet spot for mechanics where people perceive like a chance of around 60% as being like roughly even odds, because we tend to focus on the negatives. So I think you probably would want around a 60% in combat, simply so it doesn't feel like we're having lots of dead rounds. Because if nobody lands a hit in a round of combat, there's no point doing that round. Let's see, if we have just a higher melee, I wonder what needs... So the enemies probably would also need... If you want combat to last as long, you'd need to have more hit points for the enemies, but maybe you don't need more hit points for the enemies, because the problem is combat lasting too long. I do also wonder if the group combat, like how that would feel, because part of the problem I think is that you have three companions, but all they do is they give you a minor increase in your chance to hit. And so if you have Morkin plus two companions and you're facing three enemies, it still feels like the enemies get to do a lot more than you because each enemy does get a separate attack. Whereas if you look at, say, Farflame here in the group combat table, he has an 80% melee. So he'll be hitting most of the time. And he's dealing D10 damage on every attack. That's way more effective than the plus 10 to melee and plus 3 to damage here. Well, I think I'm kind of all Morkined out. We gave it a good shot, but sadly did not manage it, despite getting very close. But it was a good attempt, and I'm definitely looking forward to trying out the five kingdoms of the Ice Mark. So back to the normal schedule next week, but we still have loads of time in this stream, so maybe I'll just play a game. Let's switch over to the full screen view. Why have I disappeared? Why did I slide fully off the screen? I should be in the corner. I'll figure that out in a moment. Okay, let's open up. Oh, there I am. I had the overlay hidden. Okay. And let's open up Runehaven. That's gonna appear on the capture. There we go. That was a fun game. Oh, I never actually started my background music earlier on. Oh well. I'll get good at remembering that eventually. Let's turn down that. Okay, so this was the game I played, a demo of, where you have to find magic runes to make your own spells. It was quite fun. I tried playing the full game and did quite badly at it. I played a bunch offline and I managed to complete the normal game on normal difficulty. So I'm going to try hard difficulty and we'll see. So I will call my character Morkin. I should also change the stream category. And I need my controller, of course. There we go. A strange flying creature left me severely wounded today. I do not know how I ended up here. All I know is that it has something to do with that machine. If that be the case, perhaps it can also lead me out of this dreadful place somehow. Let's see. I want to increase my magic damage and magic generation, and probably more magic damage. Yeah. I've forgotten all the keyboard controls in this game. Right, yes, we right-click that. And this one can do that. We jab and it shoots a dagger-shaped bolt of magic. Perfect. Okay, so I need to delve through the dungeon and get some magic gems that I slot in these things, and then that lets me escape. Did I just find another rune of missile? I've already got... Okay. There's nothing else useful in here. I don't know what that one is, but we can try it and see what happens. Not sure what that's doing. Let's go back to the missile. Maybe we can see what it does if we can combine it with something. Ooh. Did it? I'm not sure what that did. Let's get rid of it for now. Alright, let's sort out this inventory. We don't need all these things up here. What is this? Dexterity. Okay, sure. And mana. Okay, let's put the mana potion there and the dexterity thing there. Okay, let's just keep pumping pumping things into our magic damage because we are very undamaging at the moment. Okay, we've got another thing here. To crouch, which is C. Okay, perfect. Ah. Okay, got another rune. There's also something moving around here. Ah, yes, down there. Yep. Okay, let's retreat back here. And, right, so we've got whatever this is. Let's try this out. Not sure what... And not sure what that's doing. Let's go for standard missile until we can get an identify scroll. Getting all turned around. Okay, let's go this way. So I do like the full version of this game. However, I feel in the demo the runes were very easily accessible. Like there were lots of runes all over the place. But in the full game, you only get like a handful of runes per level, which I think is a bit of an overcorrection. I guess they want to show off all the runes in the demo. But they should be more accessible in the main game as well. Because the fun is in making the cool spells. Okay, I've got a Scroll of Identity. Rune of Bounce. Okay. I thought I saw a bounce, but I... Ah. Yeah, on hard difficulty, this game is actually quite hard. Not found any healing things yet, and I've taken a bit of damage. Oh god, another one. Not sure how I get out of this hole in which I found myself. Okay. To climb up somewhere. But where? This isn't good. If I could... Can I then get up this slope? Perfect. Okay, cool. Another identity scroll. What I really want is a healing item, though. Okay, Rune of Gravity. I don't think that's useful, but a bounce rune is good. That will... Yeah. Perfect. Okay, cool. Rune of slowness. Oh, something through here. Ah. Oh, great. Oh. Right, I need more. More hit points. Ah, a bow. Perfect. That is better damage than my dagger. Ooh, iron greaves. Torch your luck. I mean, I really prefer to have something healing. Okay, now how do I get out of here? I need to get up that side. Here we go. Don't think there's anything worth jumping over there for. Okay, you have lost virus. That's okay. A rune of splits. We're really good there. Sadly, I do not have one. Oh, okay, they're all gone. Oh. Okay, cool. Healing potion. Okay. Huh? Oh, we've got guys down there now. Oh. What's this? I think I've seen one of these guys before. Looks tough. What the hell? Wow. Yeah, this game is significantly harder on hard mode than normal mode. Let's try normal mode, I guess. Let's go for an archer, since I do favour ranged weapons. Then again, I favour ranged magical weapons. Maybe I should go for a rune binder. Yeah. Okay, right, so I got a magic wand. Ah. Okay, it dropped a health flask. That's good. I'll take that. That's immediately boost my magic damage a bunch. Alright, anything in here worth taking? Nope, nothing. Okay, regenerates mana, pretty nice. Ooh, what happened to the stairs here? Don't think I've seen a stairway interrupted like that before. Oh, weird. Like the cave has intruded upon the stairs. Okay. Why can I see a skeleton out of my peripheral vision but not straight on? There's a insect. Oh god, multiple. Keep putting it all in magic damage. There's something here. Ooh. I've not found any other runes yet, but, you know, having the ability to combine them when I do will be nice. I got a crossbow. What was this? 7 to 10 damage. Just fine bolts, so I only have 62 bolts. Oh. Skelly man. Nice, better staff, that's what I want. I'm a magic man. Yeah. Let's get back up here. Yep. Okay, right, so this staff 3 to 7 damage, wand 2 to 4 damage. Not a big improvement, but, you know, it's something. Need to find more runes. Oh, level up. Yep, magic damage. Rune of Explosion. Ooh. Yes. Yes. Right, let's sort out my inventory so I'll have a... Yeah. That'll do. Oh, I can't make it through here. Now I can. Ah. Okay, it's a little dangerous to do when right next to you. What the hell is up there? What's that? Mana potion. Let's put that down here. Okay, we have magical skeletons up there. Okay, nothing over here. Anything interesting in that direction? Nope. Oh. There's an opening. Right. Oh no, it's just a graphical glitch. There's nothing there. Right. Okay, so I got this passageway down back here. Is this the ravine? There's a whole thing up there, but can't get to it. Come on, it survived an explosion. How tough is this thing? I think I need a less explodey weapon for general purpose use. Alright, nothing over here. Where is the way down? So it looks like I'm in a large chamber. I mean, I don't know anything about that because it's definitely up. Oh. Ah, didn't mean to do that. Ah. Crystal staff. 2 to 7. Okay, that's worse than my aquamarine staff. That's mana. Oh god. What the? Is that guy dead? No, he's not. Oh, he can summon. Well, that was worse. Right, well, we're only 2 hours and 20 minutes in, but I think I'll just call the stream here. Morkin sadly did not make it. I really thought we were going to win Morkin this time, but we did not. So we'll just be back to regular games next week. So thanks for watching and see you next time.